Hello, and thank you for being here with me for a little while. As you watch these quiet scenes of paper, wool, glue, and paint, a small white rabbit slowly comes to life on the table. He is stitched and shaped by hand, a little worn on purpose, as if he has already walked through more than one story before arriving here. I don't have fixed recipes for creating magical creatures. Each one is an experiment. This video is both a process and a tale. On the screen, you'll see how this rabbit is made, layer by layer. In your ears, you'll hear his story, an audio fable called One Rabbit Ago, inspired by the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland and by thoughts about time, memory, and the way stories begin, pause, and end. You don't have to watch every detail or understand every word. You can let the images pass like turning pages, and let the story simply keep you company while you paint, sew, drink tea, or rest. Now, let us begin his story. There is, between 1 second and the next, a place most clocks prefer not to mention. If you could slip into that tiny hesitation, you might find yourself in a narrow corridor of light and dust, smelling of paper and rain on old stone. This is where the gallery between seconds lives. It has no door in our streets. It appears to those who have lost track of time so completely that time, slightly offended, loses track of them in return. Inside are glass cases holding strange things, clocks with no hands, portraits of unnamed people whose laughter still lingers, teacups that remember whispered confessions, keys that never found their doors. And in one quiet room stands a single case with a rabbit inside. He is an art doll, a handmade figure with a slightly worn vest, ears tilted forward as if listening to a sound that has already passed. In his paws, he holds a scroll, yellowed and softened by invisible fingers. On it, in patient ink, begin at the beginning and go on till you come to the end, then stop. Visitors lean close and smile. They know the line. They know his cousins from covers and illustrations, rabbits who run and panic and shout that they are late. But this one tilts not forward, but slightly aside, as if he has just stepped off the line he was meant to follow. When the gallery closes and the lights go out, time loosens its collar, and the rabbit blinks. For a breath between ticks, he hears them. Stories started and abandoned, stories rushed, stories that never crossed their own once upon a... They whisper through frames and floorboards. If you could stand beside him in that exact seam of time, you might feel it too. Not long ago or last year, but another way of counting. 1 rabbit ago. 1 rabbit ago, something changed. 1 rabbit ago, someone stepped off the page. To understand how, we have to begin where he began, in ink. Before glass and dust and visitors, the rabbit lived where obedient characters lived, between the covers of a book. Life there was tidy. The girl fell, the world tilted, tea was poured, and somewhere a rabbit always cried that he was late, late, late. He knew exactly how wide to open his eyes, how high to lift his paws, how fast to run. Readers turned pages, he ran his printed loop. Time for him was counted not in hours, but in readings. There was the reading with the child who laughed so hard they had to stop. The reading where the book lay open on a table while someone stirred soup. The reading in hospital bed with fingers trembling on the paper. Between readings, he did not sleep. He simply flattened into ink and waited. One day, in that waiting, he heard something new. Not noise, breath. A thin white seam between lines, bright as if the page had not been fully stitched. In that seam, something moved. Not a word, but the idea of a word. "You don't have to run," it whispered, without sound. Of course, he had to. Without his running, the girl would not follow. The story would not unfold. He was important. He'd been told so by 1,000 small hands. And yet, with every reading, the ink around his entrance felt tighter, as if another possibility were pressing from inside the paper. Somewhere in him, a question had begun to knock. What if this is not my real beginning? The scene between text and margin widened. Almost nothing, but enough for a small rabbit who knew how to squeeze himself into impossible schedules. He felt a pull at his paw. The margin, once just polite emptiness, had become a narrow, pale path. The scroll that was not yet printed, but had always been inside him, unfurled in his mind. Begin at the beginning. What if this wasn't the beginning? He remembered all the readings, all the children who needed him to run. He did not want to abandon them. But he also remembered a dust-mote thought that would not settle. What if I am more than my line? Very carefully, the rabbit stepped into the margin. It did not feel like paper. It felt like cold air after a crowded room, like the first full breath after years of shallow ones. Behind him, the printed world slept on. Ahead, white space deepened into somewhere else. Under his paws, the page softened into soil, ink into roots and branches, letters stretched into tall, thin trees. The sky became a blank sheet held open by unseen hands. In his paws now lay a strip of parchment he had never seen but instantly recognized. On it, begin at the beginning. For the first time, he considered that he might choose where that beginning lay.
He tucked the scroll against his chest and took another step into the waiting world. Somewhere, a clock miscounted a second, and somewhere else, someone would later say, "It happened not so long ago, only one rabbit ago."
The white world did not stay white. With each step the rabbit took, faint marks bloomed under his paws. Lines thickened into roots, then into paths. Air that had smelled of nothing began to taste of damp earth, cooling tea, and the metallic hint of clockwork. Ahead, the emptiness folded inward and grew into a forest. The trees leaned at uneasy angles, as if they had grown while time looked away. Some trunks were hollow, filled with echoes, last words unsaid, apologies swallowed, jokes told too late. Their branches carried clocks that had given up, hanging like odd fruit with hands drifting aimlessly. The rabbit hesitated. This was no polite hedge from an illustration. The forest felt aware. The scroll twitched. He unrolled it a little. The familiar words glowed, as if surprised to be here. An almost word flickered beneath the sentence, then vanished. "I'm watching you," he muttered to the scroll. The forest rustled in reply. He stepped in. Urgency slipped from him like a coat. The path refused to hurry. When he tried, the ground held his pause, gently insisting, "Slow down." Light came from moss and bark, brightening when he had questions, dimming when he felt too sure. He passed a bare tree hung only with pocket watches, each frozen at a different minute. As he watched, one moved forward by a single tick. "Someone remembered something," said a voice. On a crooked stump sat a woman with cobweb frost hair, dusk-colored shawl, and a loom made of umbrella ribs, bent clock hands, and old knitting needles. Between them shimmered pale strands. "What are you weaving?" he asked. "Minutes," she said, "misplaced ones, dropped in pockets, left in waiting rooms, forgotten in queues." In each strand he glimpsed a tiny scene, a child staring at dust motes, someone standing at a sink long after dishes were done, or a person paused in a doorway for no clear reason. "Not important enough to be remembered," she said, "but time dislikes gaps. I keep these before they fall out of the world." "Who are you?" he asked. "Spinner? Keeper? Nuisance," she said lightly. "Depends who's complaining." Her eyes dipped to his scroll. "You, I see, are ruled by a sentence." "It's mine," he said quickly. "Every story needs its rule," she agreed. "Begin here, end there. Comforting." To him, it had never felt comforting. It had felt like pursuit. "And yet you left your printed line," she observed. He swallowed. "I wanted to know if there was anything before my beginning, or after my end.
if I still exist when no one is reading? Good question, she said. Not many characters dare ask it. This forest is where hours that don't fit come to rest. The hours stolen for daydreams, the seconds that stretch too long while someone waits for yes or no. Time here is not a straight line, it's a thicket. He looked at his scroll.
But my rule is straight. Begin at the beginning and go on till you come to the end, then stop. No loops. Have you never told a story twice? She asked. He thought of children demanding again. The story was the same. The child was not. That's a loop, she said, sewn into a straight line when no one is looking. Something in his chest loosened. What should I do? He asked. You? She lifted a shining thread where someone simply sat breathing by a window. You might start by not running. The forest seemed to agree. The clocks turned lazily, unimpressed by rushing. You've carried that sentence a long time, she said. Ask whether it's the only way a story can move. Can I change it? He whispered. I mend what's dropped. I don't write rules, but walk. Listen to the lost hours. When you've heard enough, your scroll will feel heavier with unwritten words. How will I know when that's enough? He asked. When you stop counting in lateness, she said, plucking a thread that made someone far away remember an old dream, and start counting in something else, perhaps in rabbits. He wasn't sure if she was teasing him. Still, the path ahead smelled of stories that hadn't chosen their shapes yet. He took a breath he didn't know he'd been holding and walked on, not running. A clock above stole another second. 1 rabbit ago, that would have frightened him. Now he noted it quietly, like a pebble in his pocket. The rules of his life were beginning, very softly, to loosen. If someone is brave enough or lonely enough, they find their way back to them, or not. I don't write endings. I set the table. On a lower shelf, half hidden behind the laugh you didn't realize you needed, something caught his eye. A tiny rabbit made of cloth and paper, bead-bright eyes, a scrap of parchment around its neck. That's you, she said gently. Or rather, the you someone has not yet made, in their world at least. You mean someone will remember me before they meet me? Memory and imagination stand closer than they admit, she said, pouring tea. Many memories are of things that have not yet happened. Why am I here? The spinner said this forest is for misplaced hours. I'm not an hour. Oh, you're exactly an hour, she said. An hour that decided not to behave. Sit. The chair felt as if it had waited for him. The tea smelled like something he'd always missed without knowing. Stories are how we keep tomorrow from dissolving, she said. Left alone, tomorrow is fog. It rolls in and out, and days blur. But when you say, tomorrow I'll water the plant, or tomorrow I'll write 1 sentence, you give shape to what hasn't happened yet. He thought of readers opening his book,
expecting him to be late, counting on him to tilt their afternoon. "My story kept their tomorrows from dissolving?" he asked. "Often," she said. "A child met you and thought, maybe being odd is allowed. Another chose a different rabbit to follow because of you. Small things are heavy." He looked at his scroll. "But this sentence," he unrolled it, "it feels like a cage." "Every spell feels like a cage to the one who carries it," she said. "Yet without a beginning and an end, a story is flour scattered on the table. Wind blows, someone sneezes, no bread, no crumbs, no trail home." He saw it, flour on fingers never turning into food. "So I'm not just being chased by this rule," he said slowly. "I'm carrying it. For them? For anyone who needs a path, especially through the dark." Outside, the unborn child, the unwritten letter, and the unpainted canvas shifted softly in the windows. "The trouble," she added, "is that your sentence knows only straight lines. Begin here and there. It doesn't understand pauses or detours or empty chairs waiting for a character who hasn't arrived." She nodded toward the tiny rabbit on the shelf. "That one's story is already tugging at the edge of someone's tomorrow," she said. "Your scroll must learn to allow for that." For the first time, he felt the words not as chains, but as a lantern in his paws. "If I change it," he whispered, "will the story fall apart? If you shatter it, perhaps, but if you listen to what it's trying to become and let it grow, you may find beginnings and endings are not enemies. They're cups. They hold the middle." Steam curled between them like unwritten lines. "Someone has to carry the scroll," she said quietly. "Someone who has been trapped by it, and saved by it, and stepped off it. Someone who knows time is both thicket and thread." "Why me?" he asked. "Because you already live in every childhood that remembers urgency and wonder at once. Because your lateness has always been a doorway. Because you have begun at the beginning countless times and still dare to ask if there might be another way." Inside that small house, a rabbit held his scroll and felt, for the first time, not hunted by the sentence, but responsible for it. He did not yet know how it would change, only that it must. He did not land with a crash. The falling slowed, softened, like music easing into a pause. His paws met soft grass. The forest of misplaced hours remained, but gentler. Many clocks had simply stopped. In a clearing stood a narrow table laid for several guests, though only one chair felt quietly occupied. A teapot waited, cups mismatched and ready. "Am I late?" he asked, out of habit. "For once," said the voice from everywhere, "you are exactly when you need to be." It sounded like the spinner, the woman, the audience, and like the hush before someone begins to read aloud. "Is this another trial?" he asked. "No," said the voice. "This is tea." The teapot poured by itself into a chipped cup. The steam smelled of rain on a school roof, warm sheets, fresh ink, bread cooling, the instant before someone laughs. He sat. The scroll lay on the table like a guest. "You have amended the words," the voice said. "You have given them knees and elbows. They can bend now." "I hope that was allowed," he murmured. "Rules exist to serve stories," the voice replied. "You helped your sentence remember that." He admitted, "I'm tired." That is what happens when a character stops being carried by a story and starts carrying some of it. Drink. He sipped. He tasted beginnings, tiny sparks. Once upon a time, on a day not unlike this one, yesterday or perhaps tomorrow, a child opening a book, a woman buying a notebook, an old man planting a tree anyway. Then middles, heavier. Doubt, boredom, getting lost. A writer hating every word. Two people in their third argument. A child stuck at the hardest part. Middles, he realized, are where people decide whether to stay. Then endings. Not slamming doors, but places of release. A book closed with a sigh, a story finally told, a decision finally made. Not painless, but kind enough to let someone rest. "Do you see?" the voice asked. "Beginnings are promises," he said. "Middles are trials. Endings are kindness, or at least a place to breathe." "And the pauses?" the voice prompted. Another sip tasted of pauses, a book left open while someone tends to a crying child, a hand hovering over send, a brush held just above canvas. In those pauses, the story did not die. It waited, breathing like embers. "That," said the voice, "is why your new lines matter." People needed permission to pause without calling it failure, to turn back without calling it weakness. "I won't be in every story," he said. "I'm only me." "That is enough," the voice answered. "You're not keeper of all stories, only of the path you carry. But your sentence has wandered far. When it changes, a small echo travels with it." "What if I get it wrong?" he whispered. "You already have," the voice said kindly. "That's how rules learn." He saw other tables, a cafe where someone scribbled between shifts, a kitchen where a grandmother told half a story, a small desk where a girl whispered, "Okay, just the first sentence." He did not see their endings. That was not his task. "You ran on one straight line for a long time. Now you've sat down. That too will teach them something. That you can step out of a script, renegotiate an old commandment, share tea with time instead of fleeing it." The clearing dimmed, cups and table thinned like old dreams. Only the scroll stayed solid. "It's time," the voice said. "For what?" "For you to decide how you remember yourself." He stood. He was not running. He was not late. He was impossibly on time. The world folded like a closing book.
When it opened again, there was glass. Varnish, dust, distant ventilation, and the soft, hollow sounds of a museum. The gallery between seconds. He stood very still, not frozen, but choosing stillness, as carefully as he had once chosen the margin. In his pause, the scroll. From outside, visitors saw only the old sentence. Begin at the beginning and go on till you come to the end, then stop. But against his heart, he felt the softer script. Begin where you can. Go on as you are able. Stop only when the story can rest, not when fear commands it. Clusters of visitors came and went, school groups, couples, people alone. Most arrived already late for something, counting minutes to closing, to buses, to messages. Some hurried past, some children pressed their noses to the glass. Some older faces slowed unexpectedly, as if a forgotten weight brushed them. A few read aloud, "Begin at the beginning," and flinched, remembering all the times they had not. Once in a while, someone whispered, "Maybe I could start again. Not from the very beginning, just from here." The rabbit stirred slightly. The gallery held these murmurs like weather, gusts of regret, warm fronts of courage, light rain of surrender. The rabbit began to measure days not in hours, but in rabbits. One rabbit for a child who insisted he looks like he knows something, until someone read the label aloud. 2 rabbits for a woman who visited 3 times with a closed notebook, and on the 4th came no more. Somewhere, a letter finally written. 3 rabbits for a professor who scoffed at the display, and later, on the tram, muttered, "Begin where you can," and finally started his long-delayed work. He never saw how their stories ended. He didn't need to. His job was to stand there, a small, stubborn shape of possibility. Sometimes, when the lights dimmed, shadows of other places brushed the gallery walls. A forest with crooked clocks, a house with warm windows, a table laid for tea. "You chose well," whispered something that might have been steam or thread. "I'm still afraid," he admitted. "Good," said the whisper. "That means you remember you might be wrong." Outside, seasons turned, new visitors came. Somewhere, far away, the old book still opened under fresh hands. He existed now as ink in a story, as a figure in glass, and as an idea in minds that had never read him, but suddenly felt that time might be kinder than they'd believed. 1 rabbit ago, he had stepped off the page. 1 rabbit ago, he had walked into a forest of unwanted hours. 1 rabbit ago, he had learned that stories need both bones and breath. Now he simply stood. The first sentence of the scroll faced the world. The hidden lines rested against his heart. And somewhere, not far from the glass, someone lingered a moment longer than they meant to, and left with the strange feeling that they could begin. Not from nothing, not from long ago, but from here. Not so long ago, only 1 rabbit ago. Thank you for staying with this rabbit until the end of his story. There are so many louder, faster things in the world, and it means a lot that you spent this quiet piece of time here with a handmade creature, a slow tale, and a process that unfolded layer by layer. If, while you listened, you remembered a book from your childhood, a project you once put aside, or a small dream that still quietly waits for you, then this rabbit has already done his work. If you'd like to support this kind of slow art, your likes, comments, and shares help more than you can imagine. They quietly tell the algorithm that there is room for gentle stories too. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for sharing this small, gentle corner of time with me.
I hope we'll meet again in the next story.